But how much of that is you being yourself and you being somebody that's different because of what you desire?
Well, we asked the question. What was the first question? Who's to blame for making you become who you are, right? And it's kind of societal. You know what I'm saying? Like you see society and what's
Mm-hmm.
working for the people who wins. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a young man who wants a pretty girl, well, what are the pretty girls? Who are they dating? Well, I got to be like the dudes they're dating. If that's what I want. You know what I'm saying? And as much as women say I want a guy like this or want a guy like that, you know, it's odd that a doctor and a drug dealer to a girl is the same kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? Even though men know they're two different dudes, but women see provision as provision, no matter how it got there. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you might disagree, and you could. I expect you to. You know what I mean? But from our perspective, that's what we see.
The reason why that is, Ty, you gonna come in? Are you there, Tyson?
Yeah, yeah. Y'all can hear me, right? Yeah. I was gonna say like what Joanna was speaking about men being a certain way due to social media, and then the influence behind that. I do believe that it's true. However, the same can also be said about women. Which makes it extremely difficult for men to find a woman of character. Right? You like gone are the days where you can just pull up at a restaurant or just anywhere and just try to chat with a woman. There's a huge chance that she is highly influenced by not only her friends who are also influenced by social media, but the hip hop scene. I don't think a lot of us realize the type of effect the hip hop scene has had on our society. Right now, you got like city girls. I don't really even know what that means, but every time I see the hashtag, it's always some popping off with women, and they just acting crazy, right? Like it looks good, but would there be a woman I would pursue in marriage? Absolutely not, right? So the same thing can be said about women in terms of social media, but I like to hear people talk more about their personal experiences as opposed to just putting this general statement that all women are like this or all men are like that. Anytime that I talk about women, it's typically based on what I've experienced, and I'm not going to tell a woman or a man that women out here nowadays are they're not like how it used to be. And that's no disrespect towards you, Joanna. Just me personally, based on
I'm good.
experience, it's more like, yo, let's call a spade for a spade. These people are being influenced by what they have around them, right? They're being influenced by the media. They're being influenced by social media, and oftentimes, that's going to be the result of any type of interaction that is had. So this whole feminist movement that came about because of social media. All this hype of putting women in these leadership positions, and that's not to say women can't be in leadership positions, because they most certainly can. But it's come a point where a lot of these women, they abuse that power, and they step on the heads of men who actually put them in power to be the type of women that they're pursuing to be. So I think you got to look at both sides of the sword whenever you're looking at men who are influenced by social media, but also women who are influenced by social media.
Yeah, and that's why I said both when I was explaining. I said men are
Dang, I
influenced
probably didn't hear my
by
internet
certain
probably
things
cut
that
out
we.
when you said that.
No, no, you're good. I mean, I think like I always try to switch it back. Like men see this and they want this, and women also see this and they want this. Um, I think the majority of the people that I'm around, not saying that Christians aren't influenced by social media because we definitely are, but I think there's to me I feel like a higher desire for character in those circles and what we're looking for and what you're pursuing. And a prototype, you're right. There's not, which is sad. But based off of the the Bible that we're reading, the God that we're seeking and trying to serve and pursuing, uh, that I think that because that's more the people that I'm around. Well, not anymore. Uh, but typically, it kind of sucks because you feel like the character should be different than the world, and unfortunately, it's not. So that might be where some of that is coming from, like that, not generalizing, but that pool of people that I'm around that I see more often, you would expect it to look different in the world, but it's moving to this point to where it's not. So that makes it also a little bit more difficult.
What would you blame that on though? Like specifically that pool of people that you're referring to, like the way they are, their behavior, the way they present themselves, right? You want to separate them from the world, but like you said, that's not the case. Like, why do you think that is for them?
That is a good question. I mean, I think it could be I think it could be a lot of things. I think it could be a little bit of, we've seen a lot of falls of leaders in the church in the last couple of years. Yes, please, Shan, get in here too. I will say this as my starting point. I know for me, a lot of my kind of stepping back and looking at the church happened because of some leaders and some things that happened that scarred me a little bit. And so when that happens, you really have a decision to make. You're looking at God through the lens of his people and what they did to you and to others that you love, and you're looking at the world. And so now it becomes like dang, like I thought God's people were supposed to be this, and if they acting just as bad or worse than this, then like I got to figure out where we're going. So I think there's been a lot of that, and it's been public. And so like I've watched the fall of what is it, that huge church, I can't think of it right now, Hillsong. Just watch that on TV. I mean that's everywhere where people are really seeing that, having to navigate through God's people did this, they're raping kids, they're taking money, they're doing these things. And so now you're having to kind of figure out like what is it that I really believe, where am I going? And so I think some of it is that people are kind of just sitting in the middle trying to figure out what they believe in and where. Sorry, did not know. I'll be careful. But yeah, that's like one of the things that I have to say.
No, that's real. That's real.
What you got, Shan?
I mean, I agree with Joanna in that perspective. Are we going to that specifically, or just
just on the point that she made? Either way, however you want to answer it is cool with me.
I know she mentioned, just the dating pool, and I mean, I can agree and attest to some of those points with social media, but even I believe the podcasting has made it difficult as well. I know this is a new thing that we're putting out here, but there's so many different perspectives, right? I think women have a long way to go in understanding exactly what it is that men truly desire in a mate, because we've learned by just doing this, there are a lot of fallacies that we've grown up with concerning men. Also, there's a lot of things that men don't understand about women truly. And then I think a lot of trauma that people are consistently dealing with in terms of just relationships. It doesn't have to necessarily be romantic relationships. It's just relationships in general. Things that they saw with their grandparents, things that they saw with their parents. Those have also been major influences as well. In Black communities specifically, not having males in the home. I do believe that we are making some great strides in men taking ownership, men coming and really trying to step in, be leaders, taking care of their children, working through issues with their wives, but we have a long way to go. So we are products of all of that. I didn't grow up in a healthy home. Did I know it at the time? Not necessarily, but growing up and finding some understanding, those traumas and those issues make it difficult for me in the dating pool, more specifically. So I think it's just a bunch of different things that we are dealing with, and social media does not add to it as well.
I like to chime in on something. I think also it's not just in the single realm as well. As for the impact of social media, social media has an impact in marriage as well. So my wife shared an interesting perspective with me where she saw a video where the lady was at like a pool or a little vacation spot with her kids, and she takes a 20-second clip of them having fun and enjoying themselves, and then she goes back to on her phone and just social media, just all about her.